such a good website. This is in no way sponsored, by the way. Remember this resource, it is amazing. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rita and I'm a third-year medical student in the UK. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a comprehensive overview of the best way to revise for anatomy efficiently. If you've seen my previous video about what I wish I knew before starting medical school, you would know that having a good base in anatomy is absolutely crucial before you go on the wards. If you haven't seen this video, click up here to see it. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I've structured this video into 3 parts. The best method to use, which is my method, so I'm a little bit biased. The best resources to use, and I've trialed just about everything before making this list. And finally, I'll give you examples. Anyways, the method I use has 4 parts. First, you need to compile a list of everything you need to know for your exams or for the block that you're studying, and this will act as your base for the rest of your revision. Since I know that we can't know it all, I just make this list and it tells me these are the main key areas I need to focus on. Next, you want to focus on one resource to get the bulk of your knowledge. This resource is where you'll get your information about the structure, the function, the vasculature, the nerve supply, and the lymphatic drainage of all the organs and the structures that you're revising. It's important that you cover all of these areas because on an exam, they're not going to ask you, what is this muscle? They're going to put a pin and say, what is the vascular supply to this muscle? Or what is the nerve supply there? As soon as you start relying on multiple resources, you start to get lost, or at least that's what I felt. The third thing you need to do is to visualize your anatomy. This is because most exams are either spotter exams, where they give you a prosection and you've got to identify a pin, or multiple choice exams. But the ultimate exam is the patient you're going to be treating. So you need to be able to visualize where these vessels and structures are located. And the fourth thing you need to do is to actively recall all the information you've taken notes on. I do this mainly when I'm preparing for exams, but you can obviously do this earlier on. The earlier the better, honestly. So to match these 4 parts of my method, I've got 4 amazing resources to build your revision around. The first thing, to get your basics and create your list, you need to use your university course material and lectures. These will guide you to know which organs you need to know about and the depth that's expected. Every university will provide you with some guidance on what they want you to cover, so you should definitely base your revision around this. For example, in my university, they gave us weekly lectures, and then they also give us these booklets that have sort of checklists of the various areas they want us to cover. Once you've compiled your list, you need to get the bulk of your information using one trusted resource. Many people love Grey's Anatomy, for example, which is this big hefty textbook. It's got thousands of pages. And a lot of people at my university also used Moore's Clinical Anatomy, for example. I've tried both of these well-renowned textbooks, and while they have good explanations and really good diagrams, I found that they have way too much information. Therefore, my absolute favorite resource is teachmeanatomy.info. Remember this resource, it is amazing. It's free, it's concise, it's got decent images, and it covers absolutely everything you need to know at an ideal depth. Remember, you need to cover structure, function, vasculature, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage of a ton of organs and a ton of structures. So you need to have a resource that will give you this information in a quick and concise way while also giving you a little bit of context so you understand it. I find that this website does this perfectly. And as a bonus, at the end of every page, it gives you a couple multiple choice questions so you can see how well you've retained and understood the information they're giving you. This is in no way sponsored, by the way. I mean, I wish, but not at all. I just thought that it's such a good website. I highly encourage anyone who needs to study anatomy to use it. The third resource that you need to visualize the anatomy is an anatomy atlas. This is basically a textbook with images of a ton of prosections that are labeled, giving you a different view on all of the structures. My favorite atlas is the Color Atlas of Anatomy by Rowan, because it has labeled prosections of every structure, every muscle, every bone, every organ possible. These atlases help visualize things so well, especially in the abdomen, where, for example, you have the superior vena cava and the aorta right next to each other, together. They're both massive vessels, but they're not gonna be blue and red like you see in textbooks. They're both gonna be a really ugly brown color. So you need to be able to visualize them on a cadaver because that's what you're gonna be tested on. If your uni offers dissection labs, this is also an amazing way to visualize the anatomy. Obviously, with COVID, this isn't an option, which is why I highly recommend getting an atlas because it definitely mimics what you would see in an anatomy lab. And finally, the fourth thing is to actively recall. This depends on everyone's independent way of studying, but you can either buy flashcards, like here, I bought the Netter's Anatomy flashcards, and I absolutely love them. I highly recommend them. But you can equally create your own flashcards and use those to revise the bulk of the material. Alongside using these flashcards to actively recall, I was also continuously reading through the notes that I made using Teach Me Anatomy and my lectures and the atlas. That way, even this bulky information was staying fresh in my mind constantly. The most important thing is that you need to get all this information onto one document, and using this method that I used, I was able to combine what I learned in the lectures, what I gathered from my trusted resource, the Teach Me Anatomy website, and then images and screenshots of a good textbook that gives me the view on a cadaver, so that I had a well-rounded set of notes that I then revised using flashcards and reading and just different methods to actively recall it. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and leave a thumbs up. I'd also love to hear how you study for anatomy, so please let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye!